but I will kick us off here. So we got a question, and maybe this one for Sherry. Are there people at colleges or universities who we can talk to before we start applying to schools to get a feel for how the school is and if it's a good fit?
Yeah, so we as TRIO meet with students who are prospective and thinking about attending the university. The admissions office would be another place where you could meet with an admissions counselor or go on a tour of the campus and really get a sense of what it's like. And then financial aid will generally do a rough estimate workup for you if you wanted to know, like, how much money will I get? What should I be estimating after you filled out FAFSA? So someone mentioned in the chat, FAFSA opens October 1st every fall. I always say, fill it out as soon as possible. That's how you're gonna get, and I can see Bear being like, do you want to add anything to that?
No, just, yeah, do your FAFSA early. There's no reason not to. You get the information earlier, and just like many offices, often, you know, students will be getting a lot of different award letters in spring before they're going to come in the fall. And we're always happy as well at Pathway, if you a Pathway recipient, to meet with you, look at your award letter, break down like exactly what's going on, even look at competing award letters and try to help you make the best choice. Because our goal here at Pathway is, you know, we want you to be here, but we also want you to be in the right place. And if you do get an award letter from another institution that's really the right offer, we'll help you figure that out as well.
Thank you.
I see questions in the chat. Anne's hand raised.
I know. But... Yeah. Kiara, do you want to unmute?
Yeah. So I had a few questions. They're not like super long though, so you don't have to worry. My first question is, I'm a senior in high school at this point, so I've gotten a few letters in the mail that are like, if you think about going to our college, we're offering this scholarship. I'm not too sure about them. Anyways, point is, they're 4-year based, like fixed rates, so it's like $10,000 a year to go to the school, right? How would that change if I wanted to do a study abroad program?
So that's really dependent on, so every university does study abroad different, and then there are different kinds of study abroad programs within universities. So like if you do one that's UO based and you go to UO, you pay UO tuition, but you get to study somewhere else and you're basically being a UO student but somewhere else. There are also programs where you essentially transfer to that school for a term or a semester, and then you transfer back to UO and you bring your credits back and you pay their tuition. So it all depends on the different programs that you'd be looking at for study abroad.
I've got a question kind of about, maybe more generally, Bear, you could talk a little bit about kind of the financial aid package, because we had a couple questions that asked like, how common is it to receive scholarships? There's some sticker shock with how much money it costs. How do you receive the money given, and like how does work study and other things kind of fit into that larger picture?
Okay, there's a lot in that.
There's a lot in that
part question. I'll see if I can put it. So yeah, so a financial aid award package, first of all, is a package. It has a number of different awards on it. Typically, there will be a division between loans and grants and scholarships. Grants are typically things that are coming from the federal government or the state government. They're usually income eligible qualifications. So that's where when you fill out your FAFSA, you have to give family income. The family income goes through a complicated math formula, and it spits out some numbers that talk about your eligibility for something like a Pell Grant. And so that's where the free money is in terms of going to school, in terms of easy income-based money. That's going to be your Pell Grant, your Oregon Opportunity Grant, so federal and state funds. There will be, of course, then loans on most offers, subsidized and unsubsidized. The subsidized ones are the good ones because that means that there are no interest while you're in school because the government pays the interest on that loan. So that's where you want to go to. I think there was work study in there. Some people will get work study on their financial aid awards. That's eligibility for work study jobs. It's basically a federal program that makes it really cheap to hire student workers for the university. Those awards are kind of is a use it or lose it award in the sense that it gives you eligibility to work in those jobs, but you still have to go get the job. You still have to work the job, and then you get the money as a paycheck. It doesn't come through your aid award. Scholarships, there's really, in my mind, two types of scholarships. There's institutional scholarships, which often are given to you upon admission. So I think somebody mentioned like getting a letter saying, we'll give you $10,000 for school each year for 4 years. And, you know, it sounds like a lot of money, but that school's tuition could also be $60,000 a year. So you want to look at kind of what the tuition is in what your awards really mean. But like the U of O, if you graduate high school with a 3.5, you're automatically given, you know, a scholarship. I think it's the Summit. I'm not quite sure what the eligibility guidelines, you know, if you graduate high school with a 3.4 and you're Pell eligible, you automatically get Pathway. So there's those types of awards that'll come through institutions that you don't even necessarily have to apply for. They're just given based on certain qualifications. And I think most universities have some kind of like automatic scholarship awards just based on your GPA coming out of high school. So you can look at those and just see what they are on any institution's website, and you can fairly easily predict whether you'll get them. Then there are, you know, private and departmental scholarships. So, you know, if you're going to the music school, you could apply to a music school scholarship, which is pretty specific. And then there's just everything out in the world that are all private scholarships. Sometimes the scholarship agency sends them to the U of O. Sometimes they send the check to the student. They work in a lot of different ways and they have a lot of different criteria. So you just have to look, and sometimes they're one term, sometimes they're 1 year, sometimes they're 4 years. They're going to have a lot of different criteria to them. So you just want to really check out scholarships that you apply to and what type they are. And I think that's about what I can remember from the question, but we'll leave it there so we have time.
That was impressive. Thanks for hitting on some of those topics. And I'm being conscious of our time here, so I'm trying to ask the more general questions. But this one might be for Sherry about TRIO. We've gotten a couple questions about kind of how you apply. Are you eligible as a high school student? Does it work for graduate students? Is it a place on campus or is it online? So if you can touch on those things.
Yes. Okay. So undergraduate students only as you're entering college. And then we work, like I said, from orientation in college to graduation. We usually will also let our students, we'll support you in applying to graduate school, similarly to how McNair program will. But once you're in graduate school, we say, we've given you wings and now it's your chance to fly. So, and high school students, I would say, look and see if your high school has an upward bound program. Those are usually the ones who do a lot of what SAIL is doing and helping getting you prepared for college and get you into college. And then we do have a space. So we have what we call the TRIO Hub. It's that safe space I kind of mentioned. It's in Oregon Hall on campus. And you apply on our website to find out more. And I'll link in the chat again, our website, triosss.uoregon.edu. It's just a simple Qualtrics application you fill out just to verify first gen or low income or documented disability and US citizen or permanent resident. So very straightforward. And we have an email address. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me or to Yashara. She's our program assistant, and I can put that in the chat too. And I also just linked in the chat, almost every university, so to expand on what Bear was talking about, has like a cost to attend sheet, and you can just search it on their website to get a sense of like, what do they estimate books, travel, transportation, all of that costing, and how you'd think about paying for it. Because usually what would happen is you would apply your financial aid package to tuition and fees, and then whatever's left over is sent to you in a refund check for you to spend on things like books and necessities and food and any other fees that pop up, or school related stuff is what they say. Did I answer the question, Megan?
Yeah, that was a little more in depth. That was perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming. Thank you both so much for coming and giving us a little more info about just the support that students can look forward to going into college, whether that's financial or whether that's advisor based or all of the above. I think these are really, really valuable things to know. I do know that there were some people with their hands up that I didn't get to. Where can students reach out to if they are like, I need to know the answer to this question? Who should I talk to?
For me, I'm putting my email address in the chat now. I'm happy to take your emails, answer your questions.
And talk to Sherry. You can certainly reach out to the financial aid department of whatever school you're looking at. It doesn't have to be U of O. Excuse me. And yeah, or just let it, if you have something and you're like, I don't know where this goes, email it to us at sales staff and we will find the right person also.
Yeah, and I put my personal email and then our program email as well in the chat, and either one is fine. Our program emails just go to an advisor, but you're free to send them to me directly as well.
Well, thanks, Bear and Sharon. You're getting lots of thank yous in the chat. So thank you so much for coming. For our students, we will be back at 11, but I'll let the two of you say bye.
Nice to be here. Thanks. Nice to see you. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a great day, y'all.